The sonder effect. The sonder effect is the realization that each passerby is living a life as vivid and as complex as your own, with their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It's a deep awareness that everyone around you has their own story, ambitions, and struggles, just like you do. Many people claim to feel the sonder effect when stuck in traffic, seeing all these cars lined up bumper to bumper, and knowing that each car is filled with at least one person going somewhere. Each person with a destination, a goal, an aspiration, a plan that they wish to achieve that specific day. Each person with their own set of problems that they have to deal with every single day. The reason why I love the sonder effect so much is because it reminds me that because everyone else has a life of their own, my life therefore shouldn't be the main focus, or I shouldn't believe that it is. It is almost the direct antithesis of the spotlight effect, which is when you feel like everyone is watching you and you are sort of this main character that everyone is paying attention to, watching their each and every move, waiting for them to make a mistake, constantly noticing and judging your every single action, even though they're likely paying less attention than you think. So this may sound bad, but it really does help me get out of my head whenever I feel like people are perhaps paying too much attention to me, or when I feel like people are secretly judging me, or people are secretly, thinking things about me. It helps me ground myself, kind of bring myself back to earth, and remember that not that my life doesn't necessarily mean much or matter much, but in the grand scheme of things, I am but a speck, and therefore why should anyone else pay more than the usual amount of attention to me? So it's almost comforting to remember that every single person has to go home back into the same bed that they woke up in this morning. And I know it sounds crazy, but it provides me a sense of peace, knowing that, someone may or may not be judging me for what I am doing, for how I am behaving, for the things that I post online, for the way that I behave in public. They still have to go back home and argue with their spouse about who's going to cook dinner tonight. They still have to go home and finish their maths homework. They still have to go home and deal with their own sort of crippling depression and anxiety. So my point is that everyone has a life of their own, and therefore we shouldn't become too fixated on how we are perceived by others. Everyone else is too busy dealing with their own stuff to worry about you, which is kind of both good and bad, but mostly good when you realize that because people aren't thinking about you all the time, you shouldn't necessarily rely on people as much as some people do. But at the same time, it also means that you are kind of free to do whatever you want, because who's going to stop you? And even if people are judging you a little bit here and there, what's a little judgment but a bunch of ducks making annoying sounds in the background? Don't worry too much about what people are thinking about. Whatever it is you're doing great, you're doing fine, and people don't care about you. No, that sounds bad. People aren't judging you as much as you think they are. That still kind of sounds not so good. The main lesson here is just do it. Whatever you want to do, whatever's been on your mind, whatever you want to share, whatever you want to create, just do it. Because it is always going to be a risk when you put bits and pieces of yourself out there. But there will be people that are going to appreciate what you create. And you are the one doing what you feel you were meant to do all along.